Hello everyone, this is Satyanarayanan, studying Masters of Data Science at Deakin University. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can connect a web page to a MySQL database. Here in this web page, we are going to fill few details like the first name, last name, phone number, email ID, credit card number, and credit card expiry date. And we after clicking submit button, we are expecting these data to be updated in the database table. So before showing it to you how, let me show you the database that I have. So this is the database that we are going to use, bookings.com.db. So I'm going to execute that command first, and let me show you what are all the tables that we are having here in this database. We are having customer table, property table, reservation table, review table, and room table. Our main focus is to update this customer table in this database. Uh, Let me show you what are all there here in this table. We have the customer ID, the customer first name, last name, customer phone number, email, credit card, and credit card expiry. The exact same thing that we are having in this form. So when we are executing select star from customer, we are seeing 8 records having different details. So when we are entering something, for example, let me put Thomas, last name as Gray, and phone number some random number. And some random email, card number, yeah, some, and credit card expiry. Okay. Okay, so we want this data to be inserted into our customer table. Let's see if it's working. Okay. When we're clicking submit, it says data inserted successfully. So let's see if it has actually inserted the data. Yeah, it has. It has inserted the data that we have just entered now. Okay. Now let us see what it's doing when we are giving invalid data. First, let's see what the website is responding if you are not giving anything and clicking submit. Okay, if you are doing that, it will not be submitting this form. It's going to give us some error messages saying you did not enter your first name, last name, and etc. So let's try entering something. Mike and then submit. Okay. After entering Mike, so Mike is a valid name. So it is showing valid, and for the other um, forms, it is showing invalid. Oh, what can we give? Mike Ross, maybe. And phone number. Okay. And email. Okay, let's see what this one is showing if we are only giving the name instead of at. Okay, it's going to show an error message. Please include an at the email address. Okay, email.com. And looks like this is also giving an error. You did not enter your phone number. Why? Okay. in the backend, I've set the phone number should only be 10 characters long. So when we are giving a phone number that is greater than 10 characters, it's going to show this error message. And now when we click OK, okay, 10. Yeah, now it is valid. Okay, and now we are going to give some number for the credit card and some expiry date, maybe some October 19. Okay, and no matter how many times we click submit before all these things turn to valid, it's not going to do anything to our database because the form isn't even it's going to get submitted. Let's verify that. We did so many submits for the past few seconds, but here in the database it did not update anything. It still has that Tom is gray thing. Okay. Yeah, now it looks like we have entered all the details correctly and we are going to submit it. Submit. Yeah, data inserted successfully. Now let's see it has already if it has worked. Yeah, 11 entry my cross phone number, Ross at email, and yeah, this is the exact thing that we entered in the database. Now let's see how this thing actually works. I'll start with the server first. For designing my web page, I used Node.js application, and inside Node.js, I used Express framework. So these two lines are just to import Express framework and initialize the app Express framework. And this line is to set the port number to 3000. So this is the local host that we are working on. So this sets the port to 3000. And coming to the next line, yeah, that's just this is just setting the port. And here in this line, we are importing MySQL 2. We have to install MySQL 2 into our server. That can be, I mean, MySQL 2 package inside our server that can be done with the command prompt. We just have to. Now, if I enter something, it's going to close the node. So I'm just going to open another command prompt, and we have to go into the root of the root folder of this server, and we have to enter npm install save MySQL 2. So if we are running this, it's going to install MySQL 2 package into our server and we can use it. So here we are using the MySQL 2 package and yeah, we are setting the port number here and yeah, this line is to use the public folder, a folder named public as the main folder. So inside public, we have this index.html. So this HTML is the one that is displaying the web page here. I'll come to that in a little bit. Before that, let me finish this. And this line is the middleware used to parse the HTTP uh, request. And here is where we are connecting our server to the database. Um, we are naming a new constant called DB, and we are creating a connection. Host is this is my host name, my username, my password. This is the database name that we saw here, bookings.com.db. So this is the database name and this is the port number. So we are entering these details and we are handling error for this connection. If there is any problem with this connection, it's going to display an error message with the actual error. But if there is no any, if there is no problem with the connection, it's going to display that the database is connected, something similar to this. Connected to the database is I26. Okay. Now coming to the next part, it's the post method. This is what happens after we click submit button. Uh, After we click submit, it gets all the data. For example, first name, last name, everything from the request body, and it stores into these variables. And these variables are used to update the database. That is, here I have the insert query. Using this insert query, insert into customer, cust name, cust f name, l name. I'm just giving the attribute names here and the values over here. This is the code to do that. So after clicking submit, this gets executed. If there is any problem with this execution, this error message, this error handling actually shows the error message. And but if there is no problem with the execution, it's just going to display data inserted successfully, both in the command prompt and even in the response is going to say data inserted successfully. We just saw data inserted successfully in the browser page. Here we have clicked submit 3 times. That is, we have successfully submitted the web page 3 times. So we are seeing 3 data inserted successfully here. And the final part of this code is to start this server and uh, let us know at what port this server is running. And these are just messages that we can type ourselves. We can type like some useful information here. So that is displayed here after starting the server. Now, now that the server is ready, the next part is to design the actual web page. So, for designing this my web page, I used HTML, Bootstrap, and for validating the content in the web page, I used JavaScript. So all that you're seeing here, valid and invalid data and everything, all these things are coming from JavaScript code. But this design, web page design and this bookings.com, all these are coming from HTML tags. I'll show you one by one how this works. So I'm creating a HTML document, and in header I'm putting the title as customer details. So this is the title, customer details, and this is just my name. Um, and yeah, this link is for the Bootstrap to work. I'm not using CSS because designing each and everything with CSS is quite complicated. But with Bootstraps, we can do it uh, relatively simply. So yeah, and this is all about header. Now coming to the body. Now coming to the body part, we have the header. We have the header showing bookings.com. So this is bookings.com. And inside the body, inside the body, we are having main, and inside main, we are having this form to collect all the details that we require. Here we are collecting the user's first name, last name. We are collecting the user's first name as text, and we are collecting the user's last name as text tags as well, and we are collecting the user's phone number as number. Here, if we are putting number, we will not be able to insert type in any characters. We'll only be able to type in numbers. So that is the reason why we are putting number here. And the next one, we are collecting the email as type email. So this is the reason why we actually saw the error message. You have to type in at while entering email address. For example, if I remove this at and click on submit, it's going to give me this error stating please include an at in the email. So this is the reason for that. If you're putting type email, it's going to give that error message. And what's next? We are collecting the credit card number as number, and credit card expiry as date. So if you are putting date here, it's going to show something similar to this, so that we can select our required date from this user interface. Okay, and that's all about form. And below the form, we are having two buttons, one to submit and one to reset. Submit button, by clicking submit button, it submits the form, and by clicking reset, it just resets everything in the form. It clears everything. Okay, so yeah, this is about the, and for the footer, I'm just I've just given 2023 copyright bookings.com, and this is for the bootstrap. This is also for the bootstrap to work properly. So these two are the links. You can get this link from W3 schools, or when you search online, you can get these two links to include bootstrap to the page. So this is about the overall design for this web page, but only having this will not be sufficient to handle the errors. For example, when you're just having the HTML page, it's not going to give these validations. When you click on submit without JavaScript code, it's it's just going to submit, and it's going to run um, this part of code. But we would not be having anything in our form, so everything would be empty, and it would eventually lead to some error in the database side, or error in the HTML or web page in the browser. So to avoid that, I have included some JavaScript code to check each of these values. Um, when the user clicks submit, and only to submit the form, um, if all these values match its required required state. So let's go for the JavaScript code now. Inside JavaScript code, I have declared a function called validation, and inside this, and this function is executed when we are submitting the form. On submit, return validation. That is, when an user clicks submit, it that particular this particular JavaScript function gets executed, and this function returns either true or false. If the value is true, the form is going to get submitted. Else, the form is not going to get submitted. It's just going to show some error message. And yeah, the if the value is true, the form is going to get submitted, and we have put in a method post here. So the type the data that is being that was being entered is going to be sent as post, and the action we have put in here is submit. So it's going to execute this part of the code, app.post submit. So it's going to execute this part of the code when everything is correct. Okay, now let's go to the JavaScript function. Inside JavaScript function, I have declared a few variables for storing the name, phone number, email, credit card, and date. And below these variables, I have also declared variables for storing the error message. That is, here, for example, I have created a column with ID CCRD MSG for credit card. So if there is some error, or if there is int, some messages, if there is no error, it's going to display valid. Let me reset it. If there is no error, it's going to return valid. But if there is any error, it's going to return the error. So this is the reason we are putting in an empty div here, and these message variables are the ones that are responsible for giving the error, sending the error message. So let me show you how this function actually works. So these are the variables used for storing names and everything, names and messages, and these are the Boolean variables uh, that is used to check if each of the column is returning true or false. For example, if the length of the first name is equal to 0, it's going to send you did not enter your first name correctly, and it's going to set this variable as false. Similarly, if the length of the last name is not provided, it's going to display you did not enter your last name, and it's going to set this variable to, that is CL name, to false. Similarly, for each and everything, we have checks to validate whether the information provided is correct or not, and for each after executing it, for each of these variables, it will either be true or false. And here, let me show you one more thing. Yeah, for phone number, yeah, first we are checking if the phone number is the length of the phone number is equal to 0. If the length of the phone number is equal to 0, it's going to return you did not enter your phone number. And it's going to set C phone to false. And if the length of the phone number is not equal to 10 digits, that's usually the phone numbers are 10 digits long, right? So if the phone number is not equal to 10 digit, it's going to return phone number should be 10 digits long, and it's going to set this C phone number to false. Similarly, email length, and then credit card number length and date, everything is checked, and its respective boolean variable is either set to true or false. And in the end, for returning, we are checking if all these boolean variables are true. This this particular function returns true only if all of these variables are true. That is, all of the values in this form should be valid. Even if one of the values is invalid, it's not uh, it's not going to be true because I have put in an AND operator here. So even if one of the values is incorrect, it's not going to send true. It's going to prevent default, that is submitting the form, and return false. So this is the logic behind the form submission. But if all the values are as expected, uh, these Boolean variables are going to be all these Boolean variables are going to be true, and this function is going to return true. So mm, this function returns true here on submit true. When the user clicks on submit button, it's going to return true. So if this is true, then the form will take us to the post method that is present in index.js, that is the JavaScript, the server-side file, server server-side JavaScript file. Okay, so this is the overall explanation of how this code works, how this web page works. Let me show you another example to insert a new value, a new row into the table. First, let's see how many rows are there. Right now we have 11, ending with my cross. Okay, I'm going to enter a new name. First name, let me enter Satya. Last name, Sandhya. And phone number, a 10-digit number. And email, and credit card number. And some random date. Okay, we have all of the values in the expected format, and we are going to submit this. Yeah, it says everything is valid, and it is going to submit the form. Hmm, Not sure what happened there. Yeah, it did, but why isn't it giving me a response? Hmm, yeah, it is. Data inserted successfully. And yeah, this is the overall ERD diagram for my bookings DB. It has property table, reservation table, customer table, review table, and room table. But for this video, we have just taken customer table and we have created a web page to for the customers to register themselves. That is, they can uh, enter in their details and they can register their details to our web server. Okay. Mm, yeah, hope I covered everything, and that's it. Thank you for your time. Bye.